Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dani, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to tame the beast of the embroidery machine that we have. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on those post notifications for more fantastic content. Anyway, this thing is not as scary as it may seem to operate, even though many will tell you horror stories. Today what we're going to be doing is a basic monogram application on just a piece of fabric using the design software already loaded on to the machine. So it will require no extra ink stitch, Inkscape, or designing on your own. We will go over basics of startup, such as threading the machine, threading the bobbin, replacing the needle, as well as hooping the fabric, getting it on, and ultimately working with the design program on the machine. So without further ado, let's get started. We're gonna wind our bobbin. This is called a bobbin case. This little spool of what will be thread goes underneath where the sewing needle is and acts as a hook and attachment for that top thread so that the thread is able to stay within the fabric. The bobbin, it goes into the bobbin case, which is loaded under here, and we'll load that in just a minute. But first we gotta get thread on this. So this machine has a automatic bobbin winder already built into it. You're gonna take your bobbin, put it on this little spindle right here, and twist it till it locks in place. There's a little notch that should fit nicely right there. So now that you have that wind, you get to thread the thread through the machine to wind it on the bobbin. So you're gonna take the thread that you want on the back side of your embroidery piece, something that's not on the front. And you're gonna follow the thread guides along the machine for this. So it's gonna go through this first hole, underneath the second, and then around this little thing right here. This is the tension winder. This is specifically for the bobbin. You can kind of pull it a little to make sure it's not going anywhere. If your thread gets too long, as mine is right now, these little lips right here are blades. So you can snip off the excess thread and start fresh from the tip again. So it's gonna go through this hole right here, which is conveniently labeled number 4, and then down around here to number 5. So as you can see, it has a guide showing you the proper way to wind the thread. You're gonna wrap it around the bobbin. Now, this is a personal thing. I like to wrap it around a couple of times to make sure it is snug and not going anywhere. And then you can see this little notch right here also has a blade in it. So you can sneak the thread right into that little crevasse, pull it, and it should snap right there. So now the thread is ready to be wound against the bobbin. What you do, you kick that in, and that changes it from needle mode to bobbin mode in the top corner. So to wind it, you're gonna click and you're gonna see this menu. This is how fast the bobbin will wind. So we'll start at a slow speed, and it starts winding. If you increase the speed, you increase the speed at which the bobbin's wound, and it spins. So how do you know when the bobbin's done and ready to be taken off? Well, once it's filled up, it'll stop automatically. So with that, you can slide it off, snip the thread, and just like that, your bobbin's all wound up. Now that your bobbin is fully wound, you should be able to put it in the bobbin casing. The bobbin casing and the bobbin, the thread, should go clockwise in it. And it should be able to be pulled just like that. Now that the bobbin is in the bobbin case, you can open this little compartment here where the bobbin goes. So with the string facing up and this little clamp pointing to the right, you're gonna put this hole right on this spindle right here. And if you just gently kind of slide it on, it should go part of the way. It should feel like it still can go further. That's when you're gonna open this latch, push it in all the way, and now it's locked into place. Ready to sew. Begin by turning on the machine. This will just enable a light. So the needle is right here, and the screw to undo it is this little hex key area right up here. So using your tool, this should be in the toolbox in the Makerspace, you should be able to snug it in, unscrew it, and the needle should just drop right out. This needle needs to be replaced because, as you can see, the tip of it is quite dull compared to our replacement needle. Dull needles are known for tearing fabric and causing threads to rip. So to replace your needle, there should be a flat side and a rounded side. The flat side is going to face the back of this. Now with your needle fully all the way in, you can take your tool and tighten that bolt right back up to lock your needle in place. Just like that, your needle is all set, new and sharp, ready to go. So now that our bobbin's all set, we gotta rewind the thread so that it's going towards the needle and not the bobbin. You can start by taking off your bobbin thread, because we're gonna want a different color for our embroidery design today. Take your first color, I'm using this gorgeous pink, and follow the thread guides on the top of the machine this time. So we go through the same number 1, the same number 2, but instead of going around this number 3, we're gonna bring it back down and go through this right here. From here, it'll go under this lip, which can be loosened and tightened, but those are only for minor tension adjustments. We won't need that today. Our fabric's pretty stable. Around our tension dial, make sure it goes all the way around underneath this lip right here, which can also be minorly adjusted for tension adjustments. You'll bring the thread down around this number right here, number 4, and up through this little eye hole right here. So now you're gonna bring your thread back down through this little hole portal right here. And if your thread's like mine, is kind of janky on the end, you're in luck, because there's another blade right here. This will go right in here, pull it through. Now you're gonna take this, and then there's this little arm right here. You're gonna want the thread to go up and around that. So now it's ready to be thread with the automatic threader that the machine has. So if you click this white button right here with the arrow and the needle, it'll bring down this little contraption. What you do is you put the thread around this arm and underneath these two. When you press the button again, it should thread the needle automatically for you. I like to stick it right under here. Just like that, your needle's ready to sew. Now that we got our machine set up, we gotta set up the fabric as well. So it all comes down to choosing the right embroidery hoop for your project. As you can see, we have a plethora of options. We have our massive hoop, our normal hoop, and these ones are all labeled with E, and E stands for everyone. So that's why we are able to use these 4 with this head. When you're using this one, it requires taking the arms off of the machine currently and reattaching this head onto it and sliding in these smaller hoops. However, we're not doing that today. We'll be using the normal sized hoop. So it's time to hoop up our fabric. Time to hoop, as Curry once said. We'll be using the normal sized hoop. This is the front of the hoop. This is the back of the hoop. This is the front of our fabric, and this is the back of our fabric. When I hoop my fabric, I like to make a sandwich. Start with the hoop, line up the fabric to about where you want that embroidery design to be. Take your stabilizer, place that on top, and then take the back of the hoop and sandwich it down. Like so. The backs of the hoops have these little screws to adjust the size of this back hoop. So if you have a thicker fabric, you're going to need a little more tolerance. We're working with relatively thin fabric. The denim is not very thick, so it didn't require me to adjust this at all. As you can see, the stabilizer is pulled taut, but the denim, isn't. So in order to fix that, we can just shimmy the fabric ever so slightly. Now, if you do this too hard or too suddenly, the back of the hoop will pop off and you will have to start over with the hoop sandwich. But if you do it just right, embroidery machine has no way to accidentally sew over a fold. And if your threads look straight enough, we're ready to go. So now that we have our fabric all hooped up, we get to put it onto the machine. So the machine has these two arms with these little clips on them that the hoop will slide right into. But as you can see, our current hoop is a bit small lengthwise and doesn't quite reach both arms. This is an easy fix. So behind the machine are these little notches. These can slide in and out, adjusting the length of the arms. When we want to use the E for Everybody hoop, this is what we need to adjust. So you can unscrew this one, and line it up with the hoop. Snaps right in. Take this side little screw, screw this arm back into the stage back there, tighten this screw up. Now we get to do some of the designing. So we'll be doing some monogramming today. These are all the monogram options for the brother. A plethora of fun little designs, borders and rings, embellishments, quilting patterns of the sort, normal text that you can write sentences and words with, funny little shapes and borders that you can add, as well as the pre-designed monogramming fonts. We have the English alphabet as well as the Greek alphabet, but we'll be using this two-color design. So my name's Dani, so we'll be using the D. And as you can see, it places it onto this kind of design space, shows you what color threads you'll need, and if you click this, it'll show you how long each thread color will take to sew. Up here, you can see it's staged and ready for the big hoop and the medium hoop. Clicking this button will show you the design in a much bigger, high-definition image. Clicking this will change this design from a large design to a small design, and since we're using the normal sized hoop, we'll keep it small today. And this button will flip it over and mirror it. So now that we have this set, we can set it, and on this screen, we're able to adjust where we want it on the stage, where we want it to embroider and sew. If you have other objects, this is where you can overlap them, change them up. If you want to make it smaller, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. You can stretch it in different directions using these buttons. You can reset it back to normal. You're also able to rotate it, flip it around. You're also able to move it around with your finger. Now that we have our design set, our thread in the needle, our bobbin wound, and our stage ready, click the embroidery button, and it takes you to this screen. Now on this screen, this number up here shows you the stitch it's at, basically the progress bar. This will show you how many minutes have passed and how many minutes you have left. It's normally wrong, just use it as a general idea. How many thread colors you're on and how many you have left to go. The thread colors are listed down here, as well as how long they'll take. This, you can move the stage up, down, back, forth, recenter it if you'd like, and it moves in live time. This will further you along in your progress. As you can see now, after adding 100 stitches, we're 100 stitches in. 6 minutes in one color done. So if you need to jump around, you can do that. You can send it back to 0, or if you need to redo a part, you're also able to go back in the stitch progress. This is how fast the machine will embroider, and this SPM means stitches per minute, basically the speed of it. So when we're ready to go, we'll put this on the slower speed, around 500 stitches per minute. When it's ready to go, you will click the lock button, press this bright green flashing button, and it should begin embroidering for you. Keyword should. So, a couple places to start troubleshooting when that happens. 1, double check how your thread is threaded. Sometimes this little lip likes to undo itself. So if you just replace this through the hole, that should solve a problem. How is your tension? This seems a little tight. So I'm going to undo it about 1/4 of a turn. Not too much, only a little bit. I'm going to make sure this is under this lip. It's all threaded properly. It's going down to the needle correctly. Now, I'm going to check the bobbin underneath. So, to do this, I'm going to unlock the machine, press the scissor button, which will cut our thread nicely for us. Open the bobbin hatch, pull out the bobbin casing, and check to see if our bobbin is having issues. It's rotating the way we want it. It's not having any snags when we pull it. Let's try it again. Evidently, our issue was one of the things that we tinkered with. It's never a bad thing to just double check that your settings are proper. Now we've got one color done. It's time to change the color of our thread. Certain embroidery designs only require one color. This, however, requires 2. So what that means is we're going to take this thread, pull it out. We can snip it off here. Makes our thread hanger a little neater. And we will take our second color thread and thread it through all of the holes just like we did the first time we threaded the pink thread. So we'll make sure that it's on the proper thread color, which it is. Unlock the machine and start sewing. All right, so with that being done, your embroidery is finished. Now we just gotta take it off. Luckily, our string isn't attached to our fabric since this machine has an automatic thread cutter. Pretty convenient. So what we can do is lift these clasps up and slide the hoop out, leaving us with our embroidery design on our fabric. You can just pop the back hoop off, and the stabilizer, tear them away. You can get in the nitpicky parts, get rid of all of this if you'd like. As you can see, the white bobbin thread's the thread that's underneath it, and the colored thread is what's on top. And with that, you've embroidered a letter, whatever letters, onto your fabric.